Well, at least I'm early to some things, right? We shall wait for the people to come. And today, we're going to talk about Fae lore in Irish mythology, for those watching this back. I'm gonna have to find something to do at the beginning of these. Hey Lavender, how are you? I'm glad you're here. We've got a neat topic today. How are you on your side of the world? Hope all is well. So I've researched and dug in to Fae creatures in Irish lore and linked them to the She race, right? Which Rochelle has been talking about on her channel with the extraterrestrials, but we'll get into that another time. In this one, we're going to talk about a little bit of the lore and traditions of it, and then talk about some pretty cool Fae creatures. Can't stay for the whole time today, stay as long as I can. That's great. I appreciate you showing up anyway. And it says I have 3 people. Hello. All right, so I will get into it and just start reading what I have for the people here. All right. So in Irish lore, Fae creatures have a lot of different reputations and go way back into ancient times. There are many Fae creatures, and we're going to learn about a few really cool and interesting ones today. I said feel, trying to say cool and interesting at the same time. Yeah, that's how my day's been, guys. Of course. Well, thank you, honey. I really appreciate your support. So, oh, never mind. I have to go early. Okay, honey. See you later, and thank you for coming. Well, I shall carry on. So, the Fae creatures name as a whole, like talking about all races as one, just particularly Fae, it is known as the She. Now, the She is spelt differently when you're looking at the extraterrestrial race, but in ancient Ireland, it was spelt SI. So the She have been discovered in many ways, but one notable fact is they created a lot of ancient mounds and tombs and sites all over Ireland and a little bit in Scotland. And maybe England, but it is mostly here, which I am excited to explore anyway, because in Belfast alone, they have the Giant's Ring, which is a mound. And then in like a county really close to us, they have another one. So I will share that with you guys when I get there. But anyway, Irish lore talks about the She living underground, and some lovely in appearance and others very hideous, from what I understand. These creatures were described in some lore to be the ones responsible for teaching Druidism path and other tradition, and the traditions of Druidism, sorry, not other, to the people in ancient Ireland. Other stories say that the Fae is very secretive about their existence unless they deem you trustful or worthy, keeping their mounds and circles or realms sacred to them with consequences to anyone who disturbs them, steals from them, or offends their mound or their land. That's why they say if you see a fairy circle, do not walk through it. you know, I'm not sure if that's a superstition or a fact yet, because if I pass one, knowing me, I don't know. I might get curious, but I might not. Oh no, I'll let y'all know if that time comes. Anyway, they seek revenge by soiling the lands of families or farmers, switching babies out for changelings, and other tricky behaviors, like making things disappear and reappear in your house, or hiding objects, or creating mayhem. I've heard of like weird fires starting on a stove. Yeah, but they do a lot of tricky, mischievous stuff, and that's partly why I like these little fuckers so much, just saying. And they really have no known moral code. It is described vaguely that they are different in how they operate and think versus our societal moral beliefs. Every Fae race is known to have some sort of purpose to play as an archetype in human lives, though, especially for those who have encountered a Fae creature. So let's talk about a couple different races in Irish lore and a few she beings, which I found really interesting that you don't hear too much about. So the first one I picked, there wasn't too much information on her, but I found it quite interesting because this leaves me with questions and I really want to know more. Lady Gwyn, I believe it's pronounced, but Gwyn, depicted as a headless lady in a white gown, accompanied by a black pig with red eyes. Not too much more is really known about her, and that sucks because I really want to do some more digging about that one. And then you have the Daoine Sheed, or she, known as the original inhabitants of Ireland. They live in the hollow hills and mounds with gold and crystal palaces. They've been known to mix with mortals as well, bartering food or other goods, and bestowing enchanted gifts to those who are pure of heart and in need. They resemble humans and they keep their youth for all of their life, which is apparently really long. And yeah, except they're small too. Gotta add that. They're not tall like us. And then you have your elves and leprechauns, of course. So elves are known for luring mortals into their underground hills, never to be seen again. And they're depicted as shorter people with blonde or red hair and dressed in wild flowers. They're equipped with bows made from human ribs. I like that. And they dip their arrows in certain poisonous berries. Leprechauns are solitary, kind of like elf fae creatures, and they're more of the tricksters. If you can capture one, though, it is said that he will grant you 3 wishes. I just had an image of being out on St. Patty's Day in the woods, like trying to catch a leprechaun. Totally something I'd try. All right. And next we have the Marrows, or the mermaids. They look like mermaids to me, and they're in water. So the Marrows are mermaids. I'm convinced. Anyway, they lure men into the water, or people can lure them out as well. So they can be seduced just as they can seduce people. They mate with humans and create hybrids, but their hybrids eventually always return to the sea, which I find interesting. I have questions about that too. Like, can they turn into a marrow on land, or is it when they're in water? Or I need to know things, guys. I need answers. How does this work? But anyway, I thought it was cool to share. Hi, Lady Blind Wolf. I'm glad you're here. How are you? It is one of them days, isn't it? Next, we have the Demon Bride, which I like that title, just saying. A fae that stalks funerals and waits for a man to be the last one to leave the funeral. She then takes on the form of a young, beautiful woman in white and offers him a kiss before vanishing, with the victim not even realizing that he will die and he just traded his soul for a kiss. Yeah, so people, if you are last at a funeral in a cemetery, don't go kissing girls, okay? God, sell your soul and you'll die. There's that. All right, and this one is actually my favorite, the Dullahan, also known as the Dark Man or Ireland's Headless Horseman, which I find him a lot more creepier than Sleepy Hollow's Headless Horseman. You'll see why. So the Dullahan is a dark, fey creature, also known as Irish or Ireland's Headless Horseman. He stalks the night on his horse, usually black with red eyes, or on a black carriage with 12 horses. It depends on the story, really. Holding his grinning head, which is known to be an all-seeing head, so gives him directions on where to go. And sorry, I lost my spot. Oh, and he looks for the souls of the recently deceased or somebody that is going to die. He's another kind of bringer of death for those that are about to go. He can only speak once per night, and he uses this to call the names of the souls he's collecting. The Dullahan does not kill anyone, but he does collect their souls. So he's not like, the Grim Reaper, like, hey, I'm here, it's your time, slice. No. These are people that are basically condemned, and he just helps them across, I guess. Seeing him means someone is definitely dead or dying, and he does not like to be stared at, okay? If you see him and stare too long, he will corner you in a hallucinogenic type of blood and cover you. Oh, it was cover you, not corner you. Sorry, guys. I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. That is sad. But he will cover you in a hallucinogenic type of blood, which, okay, I'll almost try anything once, but who knows? He can also whip you with a human spine that he carries around to blind you with one lash if you stare at him for too long or encounter him for too long. He uses his head to find his prey, and oddly enough, his only weakness is gold. Gold repels the Dullahan. So, yeah, you would think it would draw a fey creature, but I found that really interesting. Next, we have another one of my favorites, the Banshee. So, the Banshee, of course, in Ireland, is a dark fairy who is the harbinger of death or the omen of death, and her screams loudly pierce the ears of anyone who has a family member that is about to die, or if they themselves are about to die. The Irish believed every family had their own banshee. She's always female, but can differ in her looks, usually a lady in white with long hair covering her tears that are usually in blood. The Banshee legends trace back to the 8th century, and they were known to sing a song of sorrow for the dead, known as angry spirits and beautiful women singing songs to their families before a death. Another depiction is, of course, the angry woman crying, and when seen, she turns into an ugly, hideous hag and a scary spirit, and she will scream loudly into the night to celebrate the death of an enemy. In other Irish lore, the Banshee is a woman who suffered a horrible death. Looking into her eyes will kill you, and they can be angry enough to seek you out if you piss them off, basically. Born a fairy in most lore, or after death, excuse me, or after death, they become one. So I find that interesting too about the Banshees. Either in death they become known as the Fae, or they're born one. So that leaves me to believe, what are their hybrids and how's that work? This stuff gets me so curious. And Telsa, hello, welcome. Hi, Aries. Do you also use Morgana as the Banshee of the dead, according to Irish mythology? I don't know. I never heard that. I didn't come across it in my research, but you know what? I am going to look that up because it sounds interesting. Are you talking about the deity? Like, sorry, just so I can make sure I'm on the same page as you. That sounds interesting. Next, we have the puka, shape-shifting fairies that can shift into animals, but commonly black horses with red eyes. They really like the black horses with red eyes, like them show up so prominently in Fae folklore here. I did notice that. They love to trick humans into a wild ride or destroying the land. If you're alone and a dark horse offers you a ride, like, don't take it, guys. Just be safe. Don't be sorry. I mean, it would be kind of questionable anyway if a horse comes up to me by itself and is like, ride me, man. I'd question it, but I'd probably still be dumb enough to do it. I'm just being honest. So if farmers leave offerings for the puka, and some still do actually, they will stop the chaos and actually help the farmers. And it is said that some farmers still leave a bit of their crops as offerings to the puka to appease them, which is really cool. And then next we have the changelings, which I thought are quite interesting as well. These guys have human children and are known to swap their fairy children for these human children. And fairy children are only happy when chaos or bad things around the family is happening. So these guys only have basically that purpose to make the household unfreaking happy. And they say to kind of combat that, and the child will be really difficult, to just give it all the love that you can, and it will apparently make the Fae jealous and they'll switch them back. Sorry, Storm, keep losing signal in the hood. Yeah, I understand. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on with the internet right now. And I mean, maybe it has a bit to do with what they're doing with the data and stuff. Number 6, we have the Grogok. Oh, and sorry. I told about it because I make some activities magic. I use Morgana as the main icon with banshees. Faced with the actual pandemic, we could organize a ritual together, distant for healing. Oh, well, that sounds actually quite cool. Yeah, we, at the beginning of the pandemic, we had actually attempted one, but I think another one would definitely be needed. It would be nice. I am down for that. But that's interesting. I've never really heard of the banshees being worked with. And to be honest, after learning about them, I just wanted to come on and share a bit of Irish lore. But my personal work, the banshees definitely do have my interest. And I am trying to see about actually using my ability or other forms of magic to try to have an encounter. And feel that out, because also they could be another archetype for a few things, which has relations to like their behavior or certain type of vibe. So yeah, I'm going to be going a bit more in depth with the banshees. And the Gorgok. Hopefully I did not butcher that. So these fairies are always remaining hidden and invisible, only revealing themselves if they feel you are trustworthy. And then they will help you with housework, and having like, oh, and housework and other things. And they, for the most part, have a good heart. And they're like the ones that are really big on taking care of the earth, even though probably most Fae are. I understand the fear because we unfortunately see death as an end. But as the ancients made a sacrifice to appease death, we can create a ritual for the celebrants. I kind of like that. That's cool. Yeah, I don't look at death at all I mean, I think we all kind of have a fear of it, but after practicing for a while, I've come to the conclusion that I really don't think death is the end. Um, Definitely not. But I see what you're saying, you know, that's interesting. So some sort of ritual to appease death. It makes sense. There's a lot of good thoughts in that. Yeah, you got me thinking now. Thank you. So, are you thinking about doing one from your channel or how? And I could most certainly, yeah, because I have a lot of rituals written down in my grimoire as well that pertain to death and other things. So, yes, that actually sounds quite lovely. Yeah, and that was all the Fae. Yes, I said we like the human being in Louisiana, Mexico, death is seen in another way, like Santeria. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think it's cool to see death in a less grim way. The saddest thing about death really is our own grief of a loss. You know, I don't feel like the dead are all grieving or at loss. You know, I do have a lot of wide variety of opinions about death, and I definitely do love the way in Mexico, like their Day of the Dead, the way they pretty much have a death icon as a deity. Um, yeah, it's quite interesting. Sounds good. We don't have very many people today, guys. And I finished that a lot earlier than I thought I would. What is your favorite Fey creature you've heard of? Santa Muerte. Isn't that the freaking the deity I was just talking about? Is that I just heard this, but you know what? I'll take an information and forget it the very next day. And Tesla, are you from Louisiana? Interesting. Oh, you're from Brazil. Awesome. Awesome. I know I talk a lot. That's okay. I've got nothing but time literally right now. Like we've been on lockdown since like January. So yeah, lots of time and then no time. What is time anymore? Macu. I don't want to butcher that. Macumbiru? I probably did. Sorry if I didn't get it right. So, organizing a ritual, you say. You know, that is a lovely idea, Tesla. Sorcerer. Love it. Love it. Like your style. And I thank you for coming. I thank you all for coming. Tomorrow we will have our Witchy Wisdom Wednesdays live as well, and we are speaking about dedication, dedication to ritual, dedication to deities, dedication to your path, just dedication in general. First, get the idea. The guys want to enjoy. I agree. I agree. Many great ideas. All right. And if you guys have not done so already, go over and check out my website. Going to be doing some neat things on there. Robin, hi, how are you? I'll see you tomorrow as well. Oh, yes. What is, oh, for Witchy Wisdom Wednesday. I'm getting mixed up here, guys. I got so much on my head right now. Each one choice, your own. No. Yes. Yes. I like the way your mind works. And all right, Robin, much love, doll. I'm good. Check your mail tomorrow. Okay, thank you. So sweet. So sweet. Yes, I got to get the name of her group too, because people should check it out. All right, my lovelies. I appreciate everyone who joined. And I will do that. And thank you, Robin. And thank you for coming. And Tesla, yeah, we can definitely try to work something out. Make it as each one choose. That's so true. That should be on a t-shirt. But yeah, check out my website, guys. I'm going to be doing some stuff on there. And of course, the course will be coming up next month, fully launched. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, probably for a much longer live. And we will talk some cool stuff about dedication, what that means in your path, what you can do with it, and why it's a good thing to do. Well, much love and have a great night.